Okay, so I just pressed record here on this Zoom meeting between myself, Gadi, and Richard here. Hi, Richard.
Yowza. Hey, Gadi.
Okay, so I'm responding to somebody who spoke about a cat missing a tenant who was leaving, and I said, think of the cat as being totally present. Unlike a traumatized human, he's there to draw you into the present.
Hmm.
He's 100% here. He's not attached to you. He's there to help you be present with your heart. What
Mm-hmm.
say you?
What's my reaction to that?
Yeah.
Well, of course, it depends on him, but and of course, and it's self-evident on one level. I mean, animals and babies and kids will take you there. Mhm.
Will draw you into the present.
Yeah.
So why is it important to be in the present?
Uh, See, begs the question here. There's two kinds of timelessness. Just before he won the Nobel, T.S. Eliot, when he wrote the four quartets, he starts off with the child's understanding of timelessness. There's just this moment. There's no before or after. They don't have, conscious memories. They're all just all here. Whereas to the elder, it said, a lifetime burning in every moment, and not of one lifetime only, but of old stones that cannot be deciphered. The adult has a timelessness that includes all of time. Okay. So there's a timelessness that's just all here in the five senses right now. What do you feel now? Right. But
Hmm.
there's another timelessness if I'm writing an autobiography. I can travel anywhere I want, from age 0 to, I don't remember age 0, but age 3 to 74. But one, I could time travel into the future in my imagination. If, and people with strong, disciplined imaginations, their future is very real to them because they absolutely need to do it. And those people are rare, but they're around. And I totally intend to be one of those, and so, you know, that the kind of timelessness that is for me at age 74, is very, very different. I'm owning the fact that between now and when I croak, there is a story, and that story is going to have an end. You know that shock when someone dies, and all of a sudden, oh my God, that's the last chapter of their story. There's no more story. It's very shocking. Like, but I thought we were going to do all these things over the next 20 years. No, she's gone, baby. She's gone. It's over. You know,
Okay.
and it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. But to have that same sense of preciousness, especially at my age, I'm still feeling very young. You know, and but to really go, okay, in my story, it's like you buy a book and it has the whole stories in the book. You could jump ahead to the ending if you wanted, right? You know, and so there's a story, and the story takes place in time, but you have the whole story. And so that kind of timelessness, where you are the timelessness that contains all time, that's the elder. Okay. And
Okay.
so with and people of powerful intention, their life includes their future with great clarity, and they hold their future with great decisiveness, because there's going to come a point when everything I've ever been and where I am now and everything I'll ever be before I drop the body is one story, and I want the whole fucking thing to sing.
Okay. But let's gear it down for a second. Let's get into the present, okay? And so why
At this
is it,
moment, okay.
yeah, this moment? Why is it important? What is this thing about the now? What is the
But
power
being
of now?
present to whatever I want to be present to. I can be present to my thoughts. I can be present, to my imagination. I can be present to my memories. I can be measured to my emotions. I can be present to what I perceive with my five senses, which is you on a screen.
Okay.
But you're choosing every second.
But
You're choosing
how
what's
do you
present.
okay, how do you deal with fear?
I feel it. I breathe into it. I uh I mean, there's many things I can do with fear. I can just right now, I feel so much in touch with the spirit that I can just bathe in the breath. I almost said brave, bathe in the breath and feel that thing behind the breath that is this vibrational field of my being. And again, those are just words to someone who doesn't experience that, you know. But I can go into the fear in my body. I can go, okay, that would be right between my belly button and my rib cage. That's where it is.
Okay. Okay. I can feel you.
And being present to it, diving right into the dragon, can be one of the greatest things you could possibly do. Because I can temporarily transcend and go into bliss, but I come back and it's still there. Well, do I want it to be there every time I come back? No. What am I going to do about that? I'm going to dig down deep into the dragon's lair and find out who that dragon is. And we're going to have a dragon feast. And sometimes the dragon might eat me, but I'm going to eat the dragon in the end because I'm bigger than the dragon.
Okay. So you've conquered your fear.
Well, no. I'm merging with my fear.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So you're not
No, it's
pushing
not
it away.
separated.
You're not resisting it. You're
Oh, no, no,
merging
no,
with
no,
it.
no. Because you understand, I'm fond of saying that fear is putrefied excitement. Fear is excitement.
Fear
It's
is
got a lot
excitement.
of energy, right? Like
Okay.
anger's got a lot of energy. You want that energy. You want that energy, right? I want to claim it. I want to my life force, rescue the fair maiden of my life force with my male intentionality, and rescue all of my life force back so I can have the enthusiasm of a child because I have and find out what am I most not fully engaging everything to live the ultimate story, whatever that might be.
Okay. You
And
froze a
so
little bit.
yeah, that's
You
what I would do
froze a
with
little
fear is
bit
be
there.
present to it, breathe, and hang out. Like don't do anything. Hang out for it. Just hang out. This is productive, okay? This is productive because just like with power steering, you don't have to do much, but you got to do it right. And so when we go to these higher levels, it's not about do, and it's not about think, figure it out, figure it out, figure it out. No, it's about go all the way back to where you just are very, very here with nowhere to go, which to me is what rich means. When you don't have to run around and slave, you're rich. I don't care if there's nothing in your pocket. Are you present to your life? Can you just be? Are you rich enough to just be?
Okay.
You have to
So
cope all the
so
time, or can you be?
okay. So how do you translate this as a practical advice to
Yes.
uh, uh,
If
an
you're
average
afraid,
Joe,
if
if you
you're
will?
afraid, yeah, if you're afraid, um, and it's chronic or whatever, or you just want to handle it so it goes away, go into it. But breathe now. Really breathe and be present. Don't get lost in it. Feel it. And the way you do it is keep locating it. Okay. It's just below my rib cage. It's about 5 inches wide and about 3 inches deep. Good. Stay there. Anything else about it? Okay. Are there any other emotions with it? Yeah, anger. I'm mad. What are you mad about? I have no idea. Okay, good. Do you have um any thoughts that are happening? I'm not doing enough in life. I wish I had more money. Whatever. Okay, fine. Just notice it. Just notice. Don't get lost in them. Just keep notice your being. Okay. What else? Um, I have no, let's see. Let me think. Well, what do you want? Go into your design. What do you want? I want a lady and a community and a beautiful home, and I want to be published all over the world, sharing wonderful magic with the world. Okay, that feels really good. Now, what are you afraid of? That all the magic's not going to happen and I won't pay the bills and my life will fall apart. Okay, fine. Breathe, just breathe. Just breathe. Come back to breath. Just breathe. That was good. Now give yourself a rest by breathing. You just went into the emotions and we want to make sure you can get back out of the water. Just breathe. You're back to here. Now feel. This is a feeling that's not an emotion. You're just breathing and feeling your being. Just breathe. Okay. How's your fear now? It's a few inches over to the left, a couple inches below the rib cage. Okay, just keep hanging there. It's gonna go somewhere. Keep hanging there. Okay. Breathe. I'm a little bored. Okay, good. Let yourself be bored. Breathe. Keep breathing. Are you being led to do anything right now?
I'm getting towards bliss, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for
And
that.
which takes us to, there's a word in Sanskrit that has no equivalent in the West. And just to understand this one word could turn your whole life around. It's 3 words in one.
Okay.
Being or existence, what actually is. You know, we think what we see with our 5 senses is, but the truth is there is no green tree out there. It's not green. Okay. Your brain is making up green. So what is out there? Okay. Let's just leave that as a question. But so what is real? What is solid? What is solid is that I'm conscious. I'm alive. I'm awake. I'm aware. Good. Are you your awareness? Yeah, that's the me.
I
That's
am
not
my awareness.
yeah. And so if you can keep coming back here, you keep clearing the decks and you don't get lost in what in Sanskrit they call the Maya, the illusion, all this shit that's flying all around you, you know? You can go back. And so Sat means being or truth.
That.
Chit is consciousness. That's what is that you're conscious. And the
Chit.
contents come and go, but what doesn't come and go is that you're conscious. Okay.
Okay.
Even if you're sleeping, you're conscious some other level.
Okay.
All right. Now, but the third part of the word is the most important. Anand, which is bliss. Now, ecstasy means in Latin to stand outside. If you have 6 circles in a circle, there's just enough room in the center for a 7th circle, the Sabbath. And in the center of all those swirling thoughts and emotions and 5 senses and desires all the time, I want this, I want that, I'm thinking this, I'm thinking that, I feel this, I feel that, I see this, I smell that. All that's going on all the time. None of it will ever add up to enough. Truly enough for that raging heart that is hungry for the good stuff all the time. And the real definition of rich is that you feel the good stuff a lot. That's what rich is I dig this life. That's what health is I dig this life. And so when you understand who you are, again, this is not good. The mind's not going to fully get this, but your being wants this. To experience that you are already bliss before you think a thought, before you do an action, before anything happens. If you're already bliss, then you're no longer seeking happiness in anything that happens in life. You have desires, very strong ones, but you feel the desire not as a torment, but as an aliveness. From your being, you're going, I let in all kinds of experiences that I want because I'm a rich person. And what goes with that, I'm a powerful person. And we think of money as power. That's what it means. I give you some money and you do what I want, you know? But what is power? Causation is power. And from this connection to Sat Chit Anand, to this ocean of consciousness, which is bliss, and if you go make this voyage, you will find out for yourself that it's bliss. You know, and you can go to certain places that have strong vibrations that'll help you get to that place. You know, if people meditate in the same room a lot, you can just walk into that room and you'll be right in meditation. You know, I've had that experience several times.
So
you know, it's
so there's a residue of the energy always there.
And just being in the bliss, you are totally contributing to the world because you're radiating. And believe me, they, whether or not they're conscious about it, they're being affected by it. And also here goes the 3 superpowers come from this bliss. The bliss itself is the first superpower, the ability to feel good. Isn't that the greatest of powers? Unconditional. It has nothing to do with your personality, has nothing to do with your circumstances. It's a third world. There's the so-called outside, there's the so-called inside, and then there's what my teacher called the within inside, the place where the bliss is. Okay. And you actually are where the bliss is, but you're caught in the movie. You're distracted from experiencing
by Maya.
By Maya. Yep. In the river of bondage to Maya, all are swept out to sea. Satguru, our higher self, gives true knowledge. In seconds, he has set us free. All of a sudden, you're back in the bliss again. And sometimes with me, it's been terror. But all of a sudden, nothing works. And you finally put all your focus into help, and you go all the way back, and you go from terror to bliss, just like that.
Wow.
But we don't want it to be that way. We want the bliss, which we do. And so that once you go to this place, the other 2 superpowers kick in. the second superpower is perfect guidance. You just are thinking the thoughts that make the finite world line up with the bliss world. Oh, I never said it that way before. Wow. Okay. But the problem or the challenge is, this is what we had going on tonight. The challenge is these thoughts will contradict your rational mind's ideas. And so you're going to have to be sensitive to that. But if you tapped into the bliss, intuitive thoughts have bliss behind them. It's bliss thinking.
Bliss
You know,
thinking. I like that.
bliss is doing the thinking. I won't use the word God because it triggers people, but
Okay.
bliss is doing the thinking. All right. And when bliss is doing the thinking, it's perfect. You know, it's like Noah building an ark. It's like, that doesn't make any sense, Noah. What the fuck are you doing building a boat in the middle of the desert? Well, we'll find out soon enough, you know. And so you get ahead of the game. And this is what the geniuses, the inventors, you know, SpaceX or whatever, they have Einstein, Shakespeare, Galileo had the higher intelligence planet very strong. They were creators. So you become a creator, the bliss creates through you, and you perfect intuition becomes your actual employer in life. If you obey perfect intuition, everything you need will come to you, and you only know that by sticking your neck out and following it and then seeing what happens. Don't believe me. I ain't gonna argue about it. You know, it's like arguing about whether this food tastes good, but you got to decide that. So you got to invest your mouth, okay? And so that's the second superpower is perfect guidance. And the best one, the third one, this is total alignment with omnipotence. It doesn't get better than that. Meaning you literally can wish things into being. You can believe things into being, but it has to be in the vibration of bliss. Now, this, I'm going to postulate this. God is bliss. If God isn't bliss, I'm going to go check out the devil. Okay, God is bliss. All right, and it's not some bearded sourpuss who says you better do this or else. God is bliss, saying if you do this, you're going to dig your life. I'm your goddess mama. Okay, and I want you to dig your life. God wants me to dig my life. You know, that's the key to the whole friggin' thing. And so what happens is, I'll give you an example. There are 3 times, really 5, where I just went inside into the bliss. And I opened, I was like, twice I was like at a dance, okay? Like a rave or whatever, you know? And I opened my eyes, and this woman I've never met before smiling at me and wanting to get tactile with me.
Tactile.
3 times? It's not in the books as a good way to pick up girls. Close your eyes and meditate, and you'll pick up girls. But 3 times. And there was a 4th time where I was at a really fancy kind of club bar outside Philly with a friend, and we were at the bar stools. And I noticed the women kept rubbing against me as they were going by me. And I said, well, if everything is intentional, they were all intending to touch me. I went, oh, that's nice. I like that. As soon as I said that, boom, this cute little pixie sits right in the other bar stool, looks right in my eyes and says, hi. Are you kidding me? That's 4. And then it happened 5, where I just did an attraction spell, and all of a sudden I go to this club, and this blonde sits right next to me and starts playing footsie and touching my hand and talking about the sexual revolution. I never met her before.
And
that's how powerful this bliss is.
You were in bliss.
Well, the last 2, it wasn't straight meditation bliss. The 4th one, remember, was just a change of context. I said, oh, they were intending to touch me. Women are intending to touch me, and boom, there she was. She was beautiful, you know. And how often does a woman like that sit in front of a complete stranger, just go, "Hi, come on," you know? And then the fifth was I just did a spell for being attractive, and I was staying with my sister's band, and we all went to a club, and then this woman just showed right up, you know. And what I'm saying is the power. If people knew this, they get a totally different life than their mediocre plans. Mediocre compared to what? I mean, you know, compared to this, everything's mediocre. This is pure heaven on earth.
Okay. So give me another example that does not involve attracting women or.
Yeah, sure. Well, okay. Here's again magical powers. By the way, this bliss, the fastest way to this bliss, as far as I know, and who knows, you find out for yourself, is just to take whatever's bothering you and hand it over, because we don't know that we're bliss because we've taken our consciousness, which is bliss, and put it on everything else. Now he's doing that and I'm doing that, and I gotta worry about this. What about this and what about that? What about that? You totally forget that you're bliss. So this is one time my girlfriend was also my landlady, and I was a little behind on rent. Okay, that's a tricky situation, right? Even though we were working together, it was good, except we needed money. I lived right above her, and so that morning in the free paper there was a headline, and I have a photo of this that said some sorcery involved in the making of budgets. And I went, what? Oh God, cut that out, man. I'm gonna save that. And I put it on her table. And I went in and I did a spell with her. I just said, there is no lack. We are in total abundance. All lack is illusion. Everything's going great. We have everything we need. We are overflowing, with prosperity. And because that's just the way it is. Okay. And then we go out for a walk in February, and it's night. And for some reason, for the only time, she said, let's walk on the other side of the street. And then she immediately reaches down and picks up $200 bills.
Bills.
Okay.
In plural.
Yeah, 2 bills of $100 each.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And I went, and then we channeled our needs, instant manifestation. And I said, we're going to go home, and I'm going to put those $200 bills right over that headline, some sorcery involved in the making of budgets, and we're going to take a photo of this moment because this is too perfect for words. And so, again, there's no ego here. Again, as Jesus put it, is the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. And if you think of Jesus not as something you got to believe, but just a master teacher whom you can test out for yourself, you don't have to join a club. It's you, just you and spirit. That's all going on here. And it's you and your higher self. That's all it is. And so that is an example of a manifestation again. Okay. And there's countless times, stories I could tell, where I was in a pickle and it's like, okay, how are you going to get out of this one? And then the intuition just took my body and just moved me somewhere. And, everything worked out. Somewhere I never would have thought of. And so when you've got access to that, isn't that the real superpower? I mean, do you want to be Batman and Spider-Man? I mean, it's not a box I want. Okay. I just want to live my life, but live it magically.
It sounds to me like you don't have an issue with being present.
Well, I mean, I have a wandering mind.
Okay.
But I always know but I practice all the time, every day, preferably every hour or so, just keep coming home. Keep coming home. This is where it all is, baby doll. And here's the beauty of it is you get both worlds. You really get 3. You get the bliss, you get happiness.
Okay.
That's beyond form, even beyond personality. That has nothing to do with your personality at all. Okay. It's nothing to do with any of the contents of your mind, your emotions, your 5 senses, your body, nothing. It's a whole other domain of this radiant isness, and there's only one of it, and it's everywhere, and it's you. And so how can I put it? Yes, it's a double gift, because once you surrender the world completely, and you don't need anything because you're already in bliss, then everything that you've been trying to figure out resolves itself. The answers come in out of nowhere. So you get this world back, and you get everything you want without the stressing of trying to make it happen, because you're not trying to make anything happen. All you're doing is following spirit. And the word yoga, which means like to be linked to be yoked to the bliss. And so there's a zillion ways to do it. You have to act, that's karma yoga, in such a way that everything you do is coming from love. You're not grasping anything, because the instant you grasp anything, you just lost the bliss. The instant you judge anything, you just lost the bliss. The instant you worry about anything, you just lost the bliss. But the worry has a point. The fear has a point. The fear is trying to drive us into union with this fearlessness place. So
are you saying the fear serves a purpose?
Yeah, exactly. John, letter of John in the Bible. Perfect love casts out fear. Because I have no idea what's going to happen to me tomorrow. All I know is that right now I'm on purpose with you.
So what is perfect love?
You know it when you feel it.
Okay.
You can't. This is a knowing
Can
that
can
doesn't come
can
from the
you
mind.
have perfect love for another human being, or is this just
Oh
love
yeah,
for God?
of course. Oh no, no, it's all part of it. What I mean is, from this place, again, when I let go of my worries, I am love. Okay. At the same time, up here in the heart, there's the universal love, and then down below is the love that can involve attachment and vulnerability and sexuality and all of that. And that's dynamite. I mean,
So they coexist.
that's the point. On earth as it is in heaven, right? I want the goddess to be incarnated
You want the
in
best
my
of both
arms.
worlds.
Yeah, of course. And here's the deal. I want plenty of money, okay, which really means I want the universe to be friendly. Okay. I want plenty of money, but I need to know that that it all comes when I go to this vibration. This vibration has to be more important than all the forms,
So
or you'll get
why do you
lost.
say money and not abundance?
Well, yeah, yeah, it's abundance, period.
Okay.
And in fact, and that's the whole point. Where I am here, a lot of our exchange, it's not I give you this and you give me that. It's more like family. Okay. You need something, I need something. What matters is that the relationships are comfy. It's not like I paid this, you paid that, I did this, you did that. No one's keeping score. Okay. It's just that we're keeping score of how everybody is feeling, which is really what needs to be more important than money over loss. Capitalism does not work unless there's something more important than capital to people. Capital is supposed to serve, not lead. And that's Jesus again. You cannot serve two masters. You're either serving greed, money, etc., or you're serving love and community and justice. And there's no neutral ground. You're either ripping off the game or you're doing your part. And only if the heart is satisfied. To me, the heart is naturally moral. And its idea of moral is not a friggin' book of rules. That line, the letter of the law kills, but the spirit of the law gives life.
Very good.
And love your neighbor is the only law. I mean, love, they say love God, but I mean, love that ocean, get in touch with that ocean of love inside is the first, it's not even a commandment, it's an option. It's an option, and you can have the option of being in heaven. Once you're in heaven, you will automatically be loving. It's like a lot of babies are automatically loving before you start wounding them.
Right. I guess when the baby comes out, it's really a package of pure love.
And the babies of meditators whose mothers were meditating while they're in the womb, they come out something else, man. I mean, their father one time was saying, like, she just took me inside her, she's like, you know, they're just radiate this amazing thing because they've already been vibrating there for 9 months.
So how long have you been meditating?
Let's see, I'd say the fall of 1970, so we're talking 54 years, nonstop, pretty much.
And how do you keep disciplined about
Yeah.
meditation? Or do you?
Well, I built the muscles when I was in this group, for years, where we would meditate the first and last hour every day. And we would get together every night and bliss out together for an hour and a half. And if you've done it that much, it'll spill over into the rest of the life. And then there's a meditation where you can do that 24/7. I mean, it's option. You're going to forget a million times and remember a million times. Okay. But the idea was the idea of, why not make this a constant experience? But don't fucking judge yourself. You're going to come and go. And that's okay. And there'll be great lessons. Oh, I got attached to this. Okay, remember that. And so even the times of losing it can be very growthful also, and not judge any of it.
So
So,
how big was the group?
well, in my community it was maybe 100, but each night, 40 or something, but worldwide, in the West, it was maybe 100,000, in India, at that time, 1 million or more.
Okay.
There was basically, it was a kid who became guru at the age of 8. Okay. And he just completely radiated that zone because his daddy had also been his guru. He's the youngest of 4. And then he came to the West at 13. I caught him when he was 14, and I went and visited him in India when he was 14. and spent a month. And I built the muscle, in November of 1972 in India.
And in this community, what did you do in during the day?
Yeah. Well, this is about all else. Seek ye first the connection, and everything else will show up for you. That I had gone down to he's putting on, he was when he was 15, he was putting on a big festival in the Astrodome, and the whole world's press was there. Two of the Chicago Seven were there. It was just all kinds of people were coming to check this guy out. And I was down there for a couple of months to prepare the festival at the Astrodome, and Rennie Davis, who had organized a couple years before the largest act of civil disobedience in U.S. history, was flying to the Vietnam Peace Accords in Paris and met a couple of devotees. And when he was finished there, he flew on to India, and he came back saying the revolution is now taking a spiritual turn. And I mean, here's this guy who had been the forceful political activist power guy, and he's sitting across the table with me from me among 100 people waiting for dinner, and he's meditating, and he's got a big grin going, "I am blissed out of my socks." And so he asked me to do, as a press release, the horoscope of the festival, which got me into New York Times and Rolling Stone at 23, which led to the astrology career. So just by, and there are other people tell you, they followed the guru, and next thing you know, they have this income thing that allows them to start their own music studio and win a Grammy. And that if you choose the bliss first, everything comes to you, because you've eliminated the barrier between you and the love. If there's no barrier between you and the love, there's no barrier between you and the divine and the omnipotence. When there's no barrier between you and the omnipotence, you stop fighting the way that you want it. You stop fighting the life that love wants for you. You stop fighting the joy so you could go argue about bullshit, and worry about bullshit when you could be totally taken care of by the universe if you will simply stay in touch with that higher intelligence, that pure heart, and the will. The will is to be love in form. When quoting Jesus a lot, he said, "If you've seen me, you've seen the Father." If you've seen any of us, you've seen the divine. Any of us who's in tune with that love, you look in our faces and it radiates, and
Absolutely.
you get drawn to it. And so I may be doing a horoscope or performing a poem or whatever, but what I'm really doing is doing my best to bliss out the world. But you can't be attached to it. You just let it come through you.
Okay.
To me, that's the ultimate life, and I hate getting anywhere far from that, because I'm caught in some nonsense.
Okay.
And it could be the most well-meaning nonsense, trying very hard to fix and save the world. And yet my teacher said, you can't save the world. It's saved. It's got a creator. You can catch a ride on what it wants to become. That's my line. Ooh, I like that. Catch a ride on what the world wants to become. Be what the world wants to become, but don't try too hard. The being comes from listening to your heart's hunger for connection to joy, and don't get lost in trying to figure out how to be joyous. Your essential self is radiant joy, and you can only know that by letting go of everything except the hunger for it. And then you go back into it, and then it tells you what to do next. And what it tells you to do will be perfectly in sync and make the universe friendly, which is that issue tonight about, the idea of a bad universe, a good guy in a bad situation. No, I refuse to believe that. And because that, again, was that a bad situation? Somebody having a hand on my collar saying you ordered 3/4 dead, or was it perfect? Did it totally serve me? Didn't it give me one of the greatest stories I could ever tell for the whole rest of my life? I wouldn't change a thing. Isn't it great when you finally rise to the occasion now and then?
Well, you sure have risen to the occasion. So for closing words for this first episode of the Gadi and Richard show, or Richard and Gadi show. And by the way, Richard starts with Rich. Strangely enough, you've been using the word rich a few times. What would you say for closing words? And what is the promise of this show?
Yeah, that we're here to solidify heaven on earth. And nothing really needs to change except each of us allowing that to happen for us. And by allowing it to happen for us, on this level, selfish and selfless are the same thing, because you get your joy from giving joy, and so, but you also get the joy, again, the two loves. Love others, but the love with which you love others wants to love you first. And if you let it love you, you will automatically love everybody else. That's the way it works. So that's what we're saying is we're offering support and enthusiasm in making heaven on earth normal for each of us. Yeah, that's about as clear as it gets.
amazing. Well, thank you,
Thank you.
and thank me. Half an hour ago, we were discussing some stuff, and I said to Richard, let's record an episode, and that's exactly what we did. And I'm grateful for whatever came out of this collaboration here, with Richard, of course, supplying 90% of the content, which he does very well. And with this, thank you, amen, gratitude. Sorry, the 3 words again.
Sat Chit Anand.
Okay.
Being or truth, consciousness, and bliss. What exists is consciousness, whose nature is bliss, and you are that.
Okay. Thank you, and good night.
Good night.